Now we're going to stand up and work on our standing posture. So this is a standing check-in, because we do this a lot and we need to be able to do this functionally and correctly. And one of the, again, we go back to the simple rule of myobalance, and that is find support points, push away from them, and breathe into them. So you find a support point, push away, and breathe. And remember, the very first support point we found was our front of our ribs, our front support zone, and our back support zone. So we're going to bring that intention back into our minds like we're laying on our bellies and we're breathing and pushing away from our front support zone. Okay? And then as you do that, you should feel a tension or a tightness. Just the intention of doing that should bring a stiffness to your center. And just doing that should also allow your breath to come into your center down low. Breathe in. And your breath itself should create some stiffness and tension. You can do your self-test with your hands. So the fundamentals of standing posture is making sure that you have stiffness and pressure in your center. Now, I'm not talking about a real strong pressure, but just a gentle intention of pushing away from those positions will bring a stiffness, and that stiffness creates power and support for you. Okay? So that's the first thing, is just to activate all of those systems. Imagine pushing away from your ribs, and your stiffness is on, your breath is on, and now your pelvic floor is also on, like you're stopping the flow of urine or bowel movement. And when you do all of this stuff, the rib cage should be anchoring down. That's our biggest problem, is we're too uptight. Go into an uptight position, Rebecca. Good. So we get uptight, stress draws us into this position, so we want to take our rib cage and drop it down as much as possible, just like that. Okay? Now, the other things to bring into consideration here is other support points. You want to imagine if you're pushing away from the palm or the hand heel of your hand. And again, remember the inside of the elbows. Those are always points that you're going to be thinking about pushing away from. So, just standing here, if she could just imagine pushing away, if you can just imagine pushing away from a support point, almost like you're getting ready to do a push-up, like you're trying to push yourself up, automatically you're going to activate and lower your rib cage and bring on your center of power. And also when you do that, it's automatically going to open up your shoulders and make length in here and correct your upper quarter posture. Again, we're also going to be lengthening through the crown, almost like your head is floating. So you're pushing away from support points, elbows, and you're going up. Okay? And that brings us to some more important support points, and that is the feet. There's 3 pillars of support on your feet, which I talked about earlier. And we're going to imagine if each foot had to support 6 pounds, if each leg weighed 6 pounds, 3 of those pounds would be supported on your heel, 2 of the pounds would be supported at the base of your big toe, and 1 of those pounds would be supported at the base of your little toe. That's how you want to get your weight distributed when you're in the standing position. Just by doing that and coming into awareness of that, then your foundation should be correct, and now you should be pushing away from those support points as well. So as you push away from all of your support points all the way up, you should feel this spiraling effect start to happen. As she pushes away, everything kind of comes into an external rotation and opens her up. Now, if she's under stress and her arches are crashed and she's all in, now she's old. Okay? But we want to spiral and open and bring on the growth and renewal system rather than the stress and decay system. So again, we're finding support points and pushing away and breathing, and again feeling your pubic bone come forward, anchoring your ribs, feeling your rib cage drop down to its lowest possible position. Another important thing to understand here is that every breath, every exhale, your ribs should come down a little bit lower. Okay? So the key here is we want to find our maximum expiratory position and try to maintain that as much as possible, because that is our most stable position, because that is our lowest center of gravity. The maximum expiratory position brings the ribs down as far as they'll come, and you want to do that as much as possible without letting this happen. You don't want to let the shoulders curl forward. So the whole thing, if you turn around, Rebecca, so the whole thing comes down as a unit, like a piston, or if you cut the lid out of a can of soup and you pushed that lid down, what would happen? The contents of the soup would be compressed. And when you compress, you create power. Like a spring, if you took a spring and compressed it, you've got a tremendous amount of power that you can use. And that's the idea. We want to have that pressure and that intra-abdominal pressure to use to do what we need to do with it. Then we can steer our strength and use that for activities of daily living, for sporting events, whatever you want to use it for. So again, last time, we're finding our 3 pillars. We are anchored. We are solid. We are breathing into our center. Our rib cage is low. Our shoulder blades are coming straight down. Our neck is long. Our pelvic floor is engaged from below. We're nice and tight. And literally, you want to feel like you're floating here. The goal is to feel like you're floating. And if you get short of breath, stop, take a couple of breaths, because this is a different way of breathing for a lot of people. Okay? Once you start breathing like this, there's going to be a transition period where you become feeling like you're short of breath. But like I said, just stop, take a deep breath, and start over.